Hi, my name is Barbara Cantley. I'm here tonight to talk to you because I have heart disease. I started this fun journey with heart disease around the year 2000 when I had my first cath. It showed I had unstable plaque, but I had a big history of heart disease in my family, so we started watching it and I started taking medicine. I assumed, like everything else, medicine would take care of it. Medicine didn't take care of it. In 2011, I had to have a stent. I had the cath with Dr. Hutchins. We went in and we found in one of my veins was very blocked, and I had blockages in a couple of other veins. I actually had to have two stents, one almost on top of the other or fitting into the other because my blockage was long. The other two were not quite, blocked enough. So we started this journey. Later I found out that Dr. Hutchins thought I would probably end up having to have open heart surgery. 4.5 years later, my symptoms really began to get worse. I went for my annual checkup with Dr. Ian Cowich here in Little Rock Heart. He is my cardiologist now. You know him, don't you? He's sitting here somewhere. Anyway, I went for my checkup. My EKG had not changed since the previous year, but my symptoms had changed definitely. Symptoms is what I really want you to know about tonight. My symptoms were mine. Your symptoms are yours. Everybody's can be different. And women, yours are usually not what's written in the book. Women are different. My main symptom was the tiredness I had. Yes, I'm also a type 2 diabetic, but I had that well under control. But this tiredness was very different. The best way I know to describe it to you is my soul was tired. All over me was tired. I would lay down, stretch out, take a nap, and I would go to sleep almost immediately. But it was a fitful sleep, and yet it was a deep sleep. I would wake up and have to take a minute to kind of get my bearings around me again. And I noticed I wasn't as tired, but I wasn't refreshed either. Another big symptom of mine was jaw pain. Some of you know that I sing a lot. Every time I would sing for a while, not necessarily when I got through singing, but the next day, my jaw would hurt. It would hurt tremendously. This time, my jaw would hurt so bad that it would go up to my ear. Then I began to have some earaches. That was another symptom. Shortness of breath. Now, what is shortness of breath? Shortness of breath to me, and this is mine, was that I couldn't complete a yawn. Sounds silly, doesn't it? But I would sit down and I would yawn and try to yawn and try to yawn, but I could not complete it. I would have to stand up, walk around, and finally complete a yawn. The worst part of it for me was not being able to yawn. It was not being able to hold a note when I was singing, especially a high note. Another thing they will always ask you, are you having chest pains? What are chest pains? I finally asked one of the doctors, and he said, well, do you not hurt in your chest? And I said, no, I don't have pain here. And I said, I do know what pain is. I had a baby. Most women know what pain is. Chest pain is a pressure, as Dr. G explained it to me. He said it's pressure and it gets worse. Yes, I had that. That did happen to me. Pressure is tough. It was something I thought I could live with, but it got worse and worse. Dr. Cowich decided that I could have stents this time. Both of the places that I mentioned to you before were now very badly blocked. One of the bad things also was that at the end of each of those veins was it was a blockage, but it was too small to do anything to. The only option and the only possibility was a balloon. So we set our plan in motion. I like to have a plan. I like to know what's going to happen. Dr. Cowich is great about that. I had my first surgery on December the 21st. I went in, I did great. We did a stent and a balloon. I went home, I was to wait 30 days because you need to get the dye out of your system and through your kidneys. On January the 5th, I woke up and I really didn't feel good. But you know, I hadn't felt good a lot. I had felt better after the stent now, but I knew I still didn't feel great. But I began to feel funny. I did have pressure. The pressure was there again. Now, like most women, I thought, okay, I'll have a little breakfast. I'll take my medicine. I'll walk around. I'll be okay. Tried that, went and sat down. I wasn't feeling better. So, again, like a woman, I got up, went to the bathroom, put my makeup on, fixed my hair, and got dressed. And I thought, okay, that should make me feel better. I wasn't feeling better, and I was scared. I got out my nitroglycerin. I had never used it before. You know, I hadn't needed it. I walked into my living room and told my husband, trying not to cry, I'm fixing to take a nitroglycerin. I'm having problems. He said, okay, do I need to get dressed or we need to go to the hospital? I said, let me take it. I took one. I got a little relief. Within 10 minutes, my relief was gone. I looked at him and told him I've got to take another one. I know the protocol. I watched my dad do it. I took the second one. This time I didn't get any relief. He got dressed. We headed to the ER at the heart hospital. We walked in. They got ready for me. They got set up and they took me in. First thing I did when I got in there was I said, Ian Cowich is my doctor and he's in CrossFit today. Do you need the number? And the guy laughed at me. He said, Dr. White will be in a minute, but that's okay since we know how to get in touch with him. We'll call him. This you might find hard to believe. By the time my husband texted my sister to tell her I was in the ER, she and her husband were in a waiting room in CrossFit waiting to see Dr. Cowich. He came in and told Linda, yes, I know, I'm on the phone with him. I stayed there most of the day. They hooked me up to nitrostat. I was, somewhat relieved, but I knew things were still going on with me. Like any emergency room, it takes a while, but they were great. They kept me calm, and things went about their day. They came in and told me that Dr. Cowich had decided they were going to keep me overnight, and his associate, Dr. Henry, would do the procedure for me the next day probably. So I felt okay, we have a plan. They took me up to the room, and my husband and I were in the room. Fortunately, I did have my minister of music come by and pray for me before I had to go in. Then they walked in and told me they were there to get me. They took me downstairs, and they fixed the backside of my heart. There were 2 large blockages and a balloon. I was awake through some of it. Was it pleasant? No, but we got it done. Do I feel better now? Yes. The difference is almost unbelievable. The reason I tell you my story today is because there are a lot of things I postponed, a lot of things I thought I did right. I took the medicine. I lost some weight. I've done a lot of things, but I need to tell you something. I have heart disease. They cannot take it away from me. I can help by taking my medicine, exercising, seeing my great doctor, and doing the things that I need to do. The best part is he was able to fix me this time with stents. Will that happen next time? There probably will be a next time. That I do not know. But I am so thankful for the fact that I was able to have a doctor who listened to me, took seriously my symptoms as a woman. Ladies, only one time in all these years did I have any pain down my arm. One time. My symptoms were different. Your symptoms are different. Women, you have to stand up for yourself and get what you need to get. Thank you for the opportunity for me to tell my story. And please, not too many of you go to Dr. Cowich. He's pretty busy as he is, and he has to be there for me. Thanks. See you sometime soon.